Hey friend, welcome to the Get Rooted in Health podcast. I'm Gabby Flater, a faith-led wife, mom of 3, certified nutrition consultant, personal trainer, and passionate about changing lives. I know how frustrating it can be to navigate the health and wellness world. You want to be motivated to prioritize your well-being and wish you were more educated when it comes to cultivating a healthy home. Maybe you're a mom who's completely burnt out and needs a fresh perspective on life, or you're searching for a place to feel seen, heard, and encouraged in a godly manner. No matter if you're doing the dishes, getting your sweat on, or drinking reheated coffee while watching the kids play, there is always an opportunity for growth. If you are ready to finally take action about these desires and are ready to learn, grow, and transform your mind, then you are in the right place. It's time to establish deeper roots so you can enjoy a more fruitful and fulfilling harvest. Let's dig in. Hello and welcome to the Get Rooted in Health podcast. My name is Gabby and I'm grateful for you tuning in today, this week, this morning, this evening, this afternoon, wherever and whenever you are listening to this podcast. Today I want to kind of roll right into what we're going to talk about. Keep it short and sweet and to the point. And, I know we got a busy month ahead of us and still want to give you guys great content that's easy to absorb and digest and get you on with your day and encouraged and motivated and all the things. So, again, my name is Gabby. This is your first time listening. I'm so grateful that you have found this podcast. And I am a mom of 3 kiddos. I have one more on the way due in March. I've been married to my husband for almost 10 years now. And yeah, I'm a lover of all things wellness, health, fitness. I love gardening, sourdough, being in my kitchen in general. I say I'm a wannabe homesteader. I am a homesteader, just, I don't have millions of acres. I have just shy of an acre, but I do with it what I can. And I love the idea of the homestead life and a lot of things tied to that. So I am a certified personal trainer, nutrition consultant. So you are in the right place if you want to be in the right mindset as you approach your health, your fitness, your mind, your mindset, your body, nutrition, motherhood, faith. I mean, we walk through life together here. That's what we do here on the Get Rooted in Health podcast. So today I just wanted to touch on a little bit of homeschooling and kind of where I've been. And if I'm taking a lot of deep breaths, guys, I'm 25 weeks pregnant. So I feel that I'm hitting the point of starting to feel things more and moving a little slower. Things start to feel a little different and my breath gets taken away a little easier. But either way, we're still moving along one day at a time. But excuse my deep breaths every now and again. So homeschooling, this is our first year fully diving into it. And I honestly was skeptical. I was fearful of failing my children, of not knowing how to figure out a routine or fit it into my schedule because I'm not a scheduler. I don't like to follow routine that much. Might surprise you. Like outside of my fitness world, yeah. I don't necessarily have like schedules and routines that are like to the T where I do certain things at certain times and whatever. And that might surprise you about me. Maybe you learned something new. My personality is more, I know I have all these things I need to get done, so I need to get them all done in this time frame. And that's how I roll. I love surprises. So I'm like, I don't want to plan too much because I kind of want to go with what I feel like I want to do. And being able to be a stay-at-home mom, I can do a lot of that stuff. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it nips me in the butt. And so homeschooling really has been a neat thing to see transform over the last few months. We started in, September or whenever, school kind of started. And we had a calendar that has been sitting on our wall, like a kid one where you can put Velcro dates on it and stuff, and what kind of weather is it outside, and what month is it, and all the things. And it had sat at February or May, I don't remember which one, and wasn't touched until September because I just didn't care, and I didn't know how to incorporate it. And we have been rolling with each month ever since we kind of got into our groove. And so Winston is my oldest, and he will be 6 in January. So we are starting him a little earlier, but this kid, he honestly is first grade worthy. We have done a lot with our kids. We play games. We talk big to them. They've, like I said, learned lots of games and skills, and, kind of because homeschool allows the mindset, or homeschooling instills the whole, like, we're learning to live life and have responsibilities, and it's not doesn't fit in a system or a mold, and it, you can't look at one mom's way of doing it and expect it to work in your home. You can get a general idea and concept, but I've heard plenty of moms say that, like, I think one of them was like, I wanted to shadow a mom, and she was like, no, because guess what? This is my home and how we do things and how it functions, and your home and your kids are going to be completely different. I did not come from a homeschooled background, period. Zero, nada. I didn't grow up with it. Didn't even really grow up with knowing many homeschooled families. And if I did, it was very far and few between. And I just kind of stereotyped them, to be honest, including my husband's family, which they are pretty cool ones compared to some. I'll say some homeschool families can be odd, but we love them all. So where was I going with that? Okay, so I wasn't homeschooled. My husband was. He's the third oldest of 8 children, and all of them were homeschooled. And it is mind-blowing that is possible. Like, that's a lot of kids and a lot of schooling and a lot of different personalities. And, So apparently, it can be done. And they all are normal people. They have amazing lives. They have their own interests and hobbies and are successful in their own ways. And it's so neat to see. And my husband being one of them. So he was 100% homeschooled. I was 0% homeschooled, also with the 0% being exposed until I was 16 years old. Maybe started to kind of homeschooling, what is that? My mom now homeschools the rest of my siblings. So that is a part of their world. So that happened shortly after I got married and moved out at 19. Homeschooling kind of fell into their world shortly after that. So it's been neat to watch my mom morph into that, and she's become a resource and a great person for that. I have, my in-laws side for great resources, so many families and friends. I know a lot of moms now that homeschool, and I know that it's a big deal since 2020 hit, and so many were forced to homeschool. And I get it, it's not for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone. And if you haven't set up your life to make it a priority, it's going to be really hard to make it a priority. So I don't I don't work from home full time, in a job that needs me, and then kids that need me full time. That just is so stressful. So we set up our lives and oriented our lives knowing that I was going to work full time until we knew we were ready to start having children. And then I kind of slowly bumped down to part-time as I was approaching having my first. And then I'm very part-time with outside of the home, teaching fitness classes. But then I get to do opportunities working from home with different side hustles and, just things like that where it's a little more flexible with my schedule, and I can plan that, but it's not a demand of I need to show up at the office from 9 to 5 kind of thing. So we knew that we ultimately wanted to set up our lives that way, and that's what we did. So you have to know what it is that where are your values, what do you value? And I know that, especially now with the ways of the world, I personally, and everyone is totally entitled to their own beliefs and personal choices and whatnot, just what's being taught in school systems, and just a lot of things going on in the world that I'm not sure I'm okay with my children having to fight their way through. I'm not here to shelter my children, absolutely not, but there's a lot of scary things going on out there, and I would rather them not be exposed on a day-to-day basis away from me, where I can't have the conversations with them. So yeah, I love that we can homeschool, and it's very simple right now. And we started again, like I said, in September, and it honestly could take us an hour, and that's it. But then the rest of homeschooling is get to fostering their play, their creativity, what they want to do, go outside and play. And when now it's winter, and I'm left to now figure out what I'm going to do with crazy children inside. No, and reading books, playing games, letting them have free playtime where they can be creative, teaching them life skills, having chores. That's all a part of it. Making lunches, or how we make sourdough, or folding the laundry, sorting clothes, unloading the dishwasher. Like, that's been a new thing that we incorporate. So mostly the days we don't go to the Y, which we need to be at the Y 2 days of the week, earlier in the morning. So one day we have to be to the Y by 8, and one day we have to be to the Y by 9. So school doesn't happen before then, because that's just too much. So I know that it's going to happen when we get home, or right when I can coordinate it after some lunch, and I get one or two, at least Juliet down, one kid down for a nap. But I will have the other two kids running around sometimes when I'm trying to focus with Winston. And there are times when I'm like, okay, you need to stay in the other room. Don't do that. That's too loud and distracting. Like, it doesn't look perfect. But Winston does a really good job. We sit and we do math. We use a Math UC curriculum. There's so many resources and curriculums out there. And my mom and plenty of other ladies have shared with me that they've used that curriculum, so I just went with it. So we're cruising with math, which is super exciting. And, having played games over the last couple years with him, numbers click. It's really neat to see him make the connections. And so we're not starting from zero, because we had already been fostering kind of unintentionally, but intentional. We wanted to teach him games and treat him like a big kid, and we could see what he could handle. You kind of give a little, or you push a little further, and then you're like, okay, that was too much. But seeing what he could really absorb and learn. And it's really neat to see that come into play with all the math stuff. Reading, we are almost done with our reading lesson book. We will be moving on to something next. I have to figure out what that is. But our goal is to finish it before he turns 6. And so that'll be here in about a month. And I'm super excited for him. He's really excited. And reading, man, that's a big deal. Some kids, I know it doesn't come naturally. It might not for my other two. So it'll take a little bit longer, or different approaches. So I don't have it all figured out. It's going to be exactly the same with my other kids, because I know it's not, and I'll have to have the patience for that. Sometimes Winston has a hard time sitting still. I can relate, but when we're here learning, I will sit still. Him, no. So little kids, sometimes you gotta, hey, your math problem equaled 11. You need to stand up and give me 11 jumping jacks. And he laughs okay, Mom. No, I'm serious. Give me 11 jumping jacks. And so it's just a way to kind of jolt his brain, move his body, and then, okay, sit still for a moment and finish these next few problems. Sometimes they just have a lot of energy, and that's super normal for little kids. There's nothing wrong with him. He doesn't need to be diagnosed with something. It's just their age and how they work. They can't sit that long. And I get it. So we usually will do them back to back. We do math, and then we'll do, or I ask him, I said, do you want to do math or do you want to do reading first? Typically he wants to do math first. So we'll do that. We'll do a couple lessons. We'll do the lesson on the video, and then he has like a workbook that he works through. There's a few, repetitive lessons that he work pages. And once we finish that, then we move to reading. We read about 4 to 5 pages out of his book. And then usually I'll let him go and play, or I'll say, okay, you have laundry that you need to sort. Would you like to do that now or later? Or dishes to unload. So we have that. And then every other week, right now, we are in a history or a geography co-op. So there are different co-ops that happen in your area. You just kind of have to get plugged in, connected, either within a Facebook group or talk to some of your friends or moms, or just somehow in your local community finding out who offers them. And so it's more for like if someone's more of an expert in a certain subject, they are willing to host a whole bunch of children to come and do whatever. Or sometimes it's just on field trips. Like you get to go and do field trips as a whole group. Like that's super fun too. My mother-in-law happens to be super passionate about history, world geography, all that stuff, U.S. history. So this year we are traveling the world, and it's super neat to finally be involved in this. She's been doing this for a long time. So we get to be a part of that. And Titus and Juliet are so the moms are there, and there's different stations. This is just how this one is set up. And we come, we learn for a few hours, we hang out, have lunch after. And we've been able to travel to Italy and Mexico and Canada, and we're going to be going to Germany tomorrow. So it's just really neat, and try different foods and learn about their culture and about the things they play there, or a dance, or the different layouts of the land and the animals that live there. And we learn the names of the countries and the continents and the oceans. And so it's helpful because this is really not something I'm super passionate about. Same with science. We're going to have to figure out what that looks like. But I'm thinking maybe next year I might start something on like the human body. My husband said that would be a really good thing, and that's totally up your alley. And I was like, I could do that. I think I could do that. And Titus, I think, would be at a really good age to kind of start getting into it in that next school year. So honestly, you have to capitalize on your strengths. Obviously, cooking, gardening, being active, and being super flexible with time and like free for all, that's me, and I'm really good at it. But when it comes to like needing to be structured for like a science or history and some of those things, like it's not easy for me. And so if I can find people that can help, great. If I can find resources that really help me, awesome. But I have to be really disciplined. Sometimes I'm even cutting up, if I know I have to prep, like when I was doing some canning, like I was cutting up a bunch of stuff while I was next to Winston doing his reading book. So like it's not, you have to break free from the school mold. And it was hard for me. I'm still kind of like, I'm figuring out what my tendencies still are because I was schooled, and there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong. We need schools. Like it's just, I view it different now, but I'm not here to bash schools. That's not my goal with this episode. It's just to give you a glimpse of what homeschooling has looked like so far for us. How in the world am I going to do it when they get to like crazy math and crazy science stuff? I don't know. I'm not sure. Somehow my husband was homeschooled through high school, so I'm hoping. I also recognize that not all kids thrive in the home environment for learning, and there may be a kid that wants to go to school, and I might have to be okay with that, and we will have to navigate that when that comes. But right now this is where we're at. This is me just starting a homeschooling journey, and we're actually doing it. Like, we have been so consistent. I've never been more consistent with his reading and his math. And obviously now we have a place to be, but the geography co-op, like that is new and exciting, and he loves it. And even my 3-year-old is singing the continent song, so it's super cute to hear that. Things retain in their memory, and kids are good that way. So yeah, it doesn't look perfect. I could be multitasking while at the table with my son who's trying to do math or reading. Have I lost my patience? Absolutely. I'm not a perfect teacher. I have to be his mom too. But it is such a neat thing to be able to have the flexibility and the freedom to, I could go visit my mom one day, or there's a project that she has to get done at her house and I would love to help her. Great, we can all travel that way and do it, and be a part of that. We can bless other people. If someone needs help with their kids, another mama or whatever, we can be available. We aren't, I don't have to get my kids to school, or I don't have to work full time to not be available for things like that. My kids will learn and know how to do laundry, to cook, to know where their food comes from, to have responsibilities, to value family time a little more. But we aren't here to also keep them away from, I feel that people think homeschooling, well, they're not going to have a social life. My kids have plenty of a social life, okay? They have so many cousins. We go to the Y. My kids are not shy. Absolutely not shy. We plan to, try out a newer thing for Winston soon, with some disc golf. That's frisbee golfing. I don't know, whatever you guys want to call it. Now that we play it really more professionally ourselves, and watch it professionally. We call it disc golf because that is the professional name. But just seeing what that might look like for Winston. We've thrown him in soccer before. We might put Titus in soccer. We'll see what that looks like. So we're not here to not get our kids socialized, if you're wondering that. Because for me, that's important. I'm a social butterfly. My husband, he's become one over the 10 years he's been married to me. Okay. So yeah, there's just a whole different element of homeschooling that I didn't really realize could be. And we'll talk about it for sure more as I journey through it, but this is kind of where we're at. We have 3 basic subjects we're doing along with our life skills and family and serving other people with our time and our talents, and mastering our own craft with gardening, with becoming more self-sustaining. I try to have the conversations with them. And hey, at our dinner table, look at these green beans that we're eating. These are from the garden. Oh, the mashed potatoes, we grew those. Those are from our garden. Oh, this milk that we used to put in there, that's from the farm by Grammy's house. So it's just neat to say that not everything came from a store per se. I hope that this enlightened you, opened your eyes, I don't know, to the world of homeschooling for a first time homeschooling mom. I only have one right now that I'm really full-time homeschooling. I mean, just stay along for the ride and the journey if you're willing. Ask questions. I'll share my highs, my lows. I still don't always feel qualified, but I definitely feel encouraged by what I've been able to do. I didn't really know I could be consistent in this, but it's just like me being consistent with showing up for my health and my wellness. And if it mattered that much to me, I was going to make it a priority. And my son's education, my children's education is a priority. Their knowledge, how they're going to get through life and find their passions, I kind of have to help jumpstart that, and they have to find their way. And it's kind of cool. I've never gotten to watch a child's brain make connections as much as I have now with learning. Because then I'm like, well, how did I learn that? And then I'm watching my son and I'm like, wow, that's fascinating. That's so cool. Like, you're waiting for him to spit the word out and you're hoping he says it right. And when he does, you're like, wow, I didn't even, like, how did your brain know how to compute those letters into the sounds to make the word? And it was exactly right. Like, yeah. And then you can add like 7 plus 7 or 100 plus 300. And it's like, holy smokes, kid. Like, we're doing it. So I encourage you to, I don't know. I'm not telling you I encourage you to homeschool. If you are ever dabbling with it, if you are on the fence, if you don't know if you're qualified or not, no one's ever qualified, okay? You don't have to be a certain breed or kind. You just have to make it a priority and make it your lifestyle and your version, because I can't do it anybody else's way. I can't, and no one can do it really my way, but I can only encourage you that it doesn't have to look perfect. You can do it a little bit similar, but make it work for you. And be able to have more family time, have more one-on-one time with your kids, not have them spend so much time away from home, away from things you could be doing, and they're sitting, I just think of the time I wasted in, not wasted, I don't want to say it was wasted, it was just what I knew and what I did, and just sitting in home rooms and study rooms and recess and gym class, and then after school activities, and then I have homework and chores. So then where in the world is there time for games? Oh, and then I had youth group and church. Like, when was I ever home and valued some of those things? I feel that so much of it takes us away from the value of home, and that is one sad thing that I feel the school system is. It's always, and I get not every home environment is healthy, and there needs to be spaces for kids to be elsewhere, and I get that. But in a general concept, in stable conditions, like I remember, I can see it now why my parents fought so much for, like, I don't know that we want you to do this sport, or like, you can do it this year, or you can do 3 practices a week, or no, I'm sorry, you can't go to youth group this week. You've done something every night. And like, because then on top of homework and studying and a social life and all the things, like, where in the world is a kid supposed to be a kid? And so if I can squeeze in school for a short period of time and then just live life together, like, it's such a neat thing. And we can go places, and we can see people, and we can help others, and we can just do different things. We have the flexibility with that. So, we can always talk more on that. But I talked a lot longer than I thought I would. This was very off scripted, other than just like knowing some of you wanted to hear about this. And I felt that this was a good topic to bring to the table, and just encourage you that you can. It's okay to question whether school is a good fit. If you are questioning whether you want your kids to be fed what's being taught in schools, if you want the freedom and flexibility of what homeschooling can offer, it's not a wrong thinking. Homeschooling isn't the only right way, and going to school isn't the only right way, okay? Like, I just don't want anyone to feel that I'm saying one is better than the other. They both come with different pros, different cons, different opportunities. And right now, this is where we're at and what we've wanted to do for our children. And we're going to see where it goes from here. We have a lot of life ahead of us with our kids, with what they want to pursue, with where God takes us, as me and my husband as individuals, in terms of, parenting and our own personal career paths and passions, and what our kids are going to grow up to be like. So this is just where we are. And the little years are the most defining years, and I'm sure all of you can agree to that. And so, if we can really influence and nail in really solid foundational home life skills, good social skills, we believe in God, and so just like faith, being grounded in that, and that we, not wavering when the world tells us otherwise, we are able to do that here in these small little years. And really letting them learn the way that they want to. It's very similar to like a Montessori type school, where you kind of capitalize on, if the children wants to play with this more, then let them play with that. Or if this is how they learn, then let's let them learn this way. It's not where the school system, it's like, if you can't do it this way, there's something wrong with you, or you're just behind, or you're slow, or you're not smart, or whatever. I don't know what's said. That's probably not allowed to be said. But yeah, just really helping them thrive. So with that being said, share this with anyone that you feel is, just wanting to know more about the homeschool realm. I'm no expert, no professional. Obviously, this is, I said, my first time as a homeschooling mom, with one out of almost four children that I will be homeschooling in the years to come. And it's been a neat ride so far. So I look forward to what's ahead and the things that I get to share with you guys. So any questions, you know where to find me. You can find me on Instagram at Get Rooted in Health. And then Facebook, Gabriella Flater. And email. You can subscribe to my emails at getrootedinhealth.com. If you have not left a rating and review for this episode, comment what you liked from this show. That would mean the world to me. So be blessed and have an awesome rest of your week. Bye.